Okay, so Sophia, you've been working on the indexing team and you've had a couple of challenges, a couple of changes. So what were your first plans for making this index system?
So the first thing our first team of indexing was just like a group of us girls who had like no mechanical experience whatsoever. And so at first we weren't entirely sure whether our designs would actually be on the robot because we were just prototyping. But the original design was to make sort of like a long tower with bands on the sides that the ball would go through and up, and the bands would move it up to a shooter at the top.
Okay, that's cool. How did that mechanism end up working out for you? Did you have to switch anything? What happened?
So we had to scrap that design because the shooter that ended up coming would not have fit onto a tower like that. It was designed that the ball would go kind of like horizontally, not vertically. And so basically, we scrapped that design and took it apart, and we had to try to incorporate, think of a new design to incorporate a similar system, but onto a horizontal pathway instead of a vertical one.
And what is your new design for this system?
So our new design is the shooter is basically arranged horizontally like this with a belt system inside it. So we kind of took our tower and just flipped it around, but then incorporated it onto the shooter instead of having a separate shaft. And we did think that we would have another set of wheels on the front to guide the ball in, but we ended up taking those off. So now it's just the belt and the inside of the shooter.
That's really cool. What challenges have you faced so far with this system? Anything you needed to remodel or redesign?
We've probably had to redesign at least 5 times because it would turn out sometimes on Saturdays that even just within a couple of hours that our designs would not work. And another challenge was just we were all first years and we had no idea what tools were available to us, or how to cut metal, or even what the names of some of the parts were. And so that was definitely a challenge, but it got easier as we kind of learned, and some veteran team members also joined our team. So that was great, and it made, once we started getting used to the process, it was easier to problem solve and think of new solutions because we had already scrapped so many designs before and thought of so many new ones.
Sounds fun. And your final design, how is it working out? Is it connecting the intake to the shooter mechanism well? Are there any challenges that you need to tweak, or is it perfect pretty much?
So far we haven't tested the indexing with the intake team or with the intake system, but we did test just the indexing by itself. So that worked well, and that was a really euphoric moment for all of us because it finally worked. And so now if it doesn't work, I don't think we'll need any major design changes. We might just need to shift the position a little bit and move it up and down. But otherwise, hopefully we'll be able to test the shooter and the indexing and the intake all together to see if it all fits seamlessly.
Thank you.